Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Society of Schenectady. I am Stephanie Maslenka. I use she, they pronouns. Thank you for coming into this circle of caring people. Whether you arrive joyous or with a heavy heart, thank you. We are grateful that you have chosen to be here this morning. The name of the story is Two Frogs, and it's about two friends who get into some trouble, and one of them begins to lose hope. Has anybody ever felt that way? This story is written by the Reverend Christopher Busey. Once, two frogs were hopping through the forest when they accidentally hopped into a big butter churn. Do you know what a butter churn is? It's a very big contraption that is used to make homemade sweet, creamy butter. The sides of the churn were slick and slippery. There was no place to hold on to, so the frogs had to swim in circles just to stay afloat. After a long time, one frog said, "There is no hope. We're doomed to drown in this churn." The older frog said, "Don't lose hope. Life is a circle. There are bad times, there are good times. One must endure the winter to see the spring." The young frog was not so sure. He said, "You're wrong. We're going to die, I tell you." And the older frog said, "We must keep hope alive, for if hope dies, we too will die. But if we keep hope alive, we will live to see another sunrise." But the younger frog was already starting to lose hope, and he began to sink down into the creamy liquid. "Keep hope alive! Keep hope alive!" cried the older one. Then the younger one started repeating it, a little slowly at first. "Keep hope alive! Keep hope alive!" The more they repeated the words, the stronger they felt. "Keep hope alive! Keep hope alive!" And the more strength they had, the better they could swim in circles. As they swam and swam around the circles, an amazing thing began to happen. They realized they weren't sinking anymore. The cream had turned to butter. The two frogs were able to hop off the top of that butter and out of the churn. They landed on the ground just in time to see a beautiful sunrise. The older frog said to the younger one, "Remember, my son, life is a circle. Despair may come through the night, but joy comes in the morning." And the two frogs hopped away into the woods. Indeed, my friends, despair may be there. Hope and joy can also be on the horizon.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Joel Best, he, him. Um, I guess they wanted me to say a couple of words about why I wrote this poem. I wrote it specifically for this service. I've been writing my whole life. I love poetry because it allows you to approach ideas from sometimes unexpected directions, and you get to use language in a lot of fun ways. Um, this poem I wrote thinking about the times when I was a boy. I spent a lot of time walking in the forest, loved the forest, loved trees, loved the sound of wind. Um, okay, this is the result. I was thinking about that, and this is what resulted. It's called Walkabout. Trace a wandered path through valley pines that sleep and dream of distant summer, that sway silent through ambling snow and brittle breeze. I remember them from warmer days when their lifeblood ran in rivers and sunlight edged the world with electric outlines. Days so long gone, they've left small holes in my memory. But the pines endure. Listen to me talk to them when they don't talk back. My private conversation as afternoon surrenders to evening. asking if they experience the changing of seasons, if pines celebrate the winter solstice, not the way I would celebrate with friends and those who used to be friends, the ghosts who've traveled ahead of me into a map of mysteries, if the pines have their own way of sensing the balance of light and dark, if they think wistfully of July, of August, looking back, but also looking forward into the cool calm of midwinter in this quarantine valley and this time in between, holding true and standing guard, maybe singing in a language I'll never understand.
Good morning, greetings, everyone. I see some faces I know and some new faces. My name is Roxanne Yeager. She, her pronouns work for me. Dear Stephanie asked if I might share with you all today something about this time of year that has special meaning and brings me joy. When it snows, I like to go outside to make snow things. I discovered this in December of 2011, and I have my mom, Ann, to thank for it. My mom loved the holidays and the natural wonders of all the seasons, including winter. She was an artist and an art teacher. I've wondered if she was influenced by the Norwegian philosophy of friluftsliv, which translates to free air life. It's practiced by fostering presence, connection, and joy by communing in and with nature through outdoor activity, no matter what the season or weather conditions. When winter offered Anne perfect packable snow, she accepted the invitation to go outside to play and create, and I got to share in that with her. As a child, I remember the first time that my mom made something other than the gender imbalanced snowman that has dominated snowy fields and yards across America for decades. Mom greeted that winter day by using the snow to create a curvaceous female snow figure, which she fashioned to look like Blanche Dubois from the movie A Streetcar Named Desire. My mom had to roll, lift, mound, and sculpt quite a lot of snow to make the attractive 5.5 foot tall snow woman. I wish I had a photograph, but I don't. In Mom's Rubenesque, well endowed version, Blanche was dramatically tossing her snowy locks over her right shoulder and her chin tilted skyward. Blanche's left hand was poised atop her noticeably curvaceous, outwardly jutting left hip. I hope the description allows you to see Mom's rendition of Blanche in your mind's eye, as I still can in mine. My mom, Ann, passed away on December 1st of 2011. The profound loss of my beloved mom sparked in me the burning desire to memorialize the wonderful person that she was and her beautiful spirit, to keep her close in my heart. To do this, I found myself bundling up in warm outdoor clothing and accepting winter's many invitations to go outside to play and create snow things, to follow in Mom's footsteps. Here are some of the snow things I made that winter season and in subsequent winters. That December, I first sculpted the packable white stuff into a big penguin named Happy Feet. Keeping my hands busy, engaging in creative practice made my heart and head noticeably happier too. I found joy by memorializing my mom in this way, creating with and in nature. Instead of winter causing me dread, with its sometimes harsh, cold, icy, and long, dark houred months, the season actually felt more like a comforting friend, offering me space and time to create snow things, to feel the joy of creation and the kindred connection to my mom. So I kept going outside to sculpt snow. The Christmas holiday is known for partridges and pear trees, who sometimes cause stirs. When they do, pears often fall onto the ground below. By looking at the size of this pear compared to its surroundings, it had been ripening for a very long time. Then I crafted a large snow dog on our deck. Pine needles made great whiskers, and I adorned it with a festive red snowflake necklace. Our cat Pixie helped to demonstrate that creatures with significantly different life philosophies can peacefully coexist. As John Lennon would say, imagine. On Groundhog Day, February 2nd, also known as Candlemas, Puxatawny Philomena came into existence. Yes, that's right. I said Philomena. Pronoun she, her. Female groundhogs are also excellent weather forecasters like their male counterparts. And here, Philomena sees her shadow and accurately predicts 6 more weeks of winter. Our patient and beloved dog, Glint, he was a very cooperative shadow, helping me to capture this Candlemas photo. This is my 6-foot tall rendition of Harvey, the giant white rabbit, who some of you may recall was a friend of Elwood P. Dowd, played by Jimmy Stewart in the 1950 film of the same name. One aspect of snow things is that they are ultimately transformed by nature, and they can sometimes be reformed to one's own heart's content if the weather conditions allow for it. As Harvey melted, I refashioned him into Winnie the Pooh's shorter friend, Rabbit. This is my whimsical snow rendition of my mom's pet cockatiel, Rosie Bird, pronouns he, him. When my mom became ill, I inherited the real Rosie Bird, and Tim and I cared for him over many years until his passing, when I then created this snow memorial. We adored him, and he in return adored our dog Glint, often flying over to land on Glint's furry back or head for a cozy snuggle. February 14th inspired me to make a snow valentine for Tim. I hoped it would represent my big love for him and my full heart. The giant heart was on our deck waiting for Tim when he got home from work. Cupid's arrow was piercing it. The arrow was crafted by melding together icicles collected from our roof. So maybe when the cold winter season offers you some snow, you might feel moved to accept the invitation to go outside to play and create a snow thing or two from your very own heart and imagination. Who knows? You may just find yourself making good friends with the winter season, whether it goes out like a lamb or a lion. Thank you for listening. Happy winter. May you create lots of joy for yourself and others this season.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Moon, and my pronouns are he, him. To help me decide what I wanted to share with you all this morning, I went to the description of today's service on the UUSS website. It reads, members will share poetry, music, and art from the season and seasonal holidays. We'll reflect on how these inform who we are and how we find joy. I wrote a little haiku to get me started. I'm not a great poet. I love wintertime. A perfect ski run is art. Play in snow is joy. So, yes, I love being outside playing in the winter. A really great thing about playing in the snow is coming inside to get warm. When I'm cozily settled in with a cup of warm cider, tea, or hot chocolate, I enjoy many indoor activities as well. I enjoy reading poetry and literature, That's art I can read. I enjoy listening to music, all kinds of music. That's art I can hear. I enjoy paintings and sculpture. That's art I can see. And I can enjoy cinema and theater and holiday movies and TV shows. That's art I can see and hear. But there's another form of art that I particularly enjoy, and that's art I can eat. The first time I baked with Roxanne was at Thanksgiving time, just 2 months after we met. We were becoming good friends and not yet a couple, so we weren't mixing families yet for the holidays. But we found that mixing ingredients together and creating good food was something we both loved. And it was then that Roxanne began to teach me the true meaning of the term culinary arts. That Thanksgiving, we baked pies. We each took a pie to share with our own family and friends. It felt really good to make a contribution that was homemade and by me at my family's Thanksgiving table. I discovered that Roxanne and I have in common the enjoyment of eating cookies. So at Christmas time, we added cookies to the mix, but we made them from scratch. Snow dusted pines, a starlit sky, and our sweet dog glint inspired our decorations on these cookies. You can see cardinals as well, which both of our moms loved. To this day, we can't see a red cardinal flitting by or perched in a bush outside our window without thinking of our dear moms. Just because we added cookies to the mix, it didn't mean we couldn't still bake pies. Some of our favorite pies to make and decorate together are apple, pear cranberry, mincemeat, cherry, rhubarb, lemon meringue, blueberry, and pumpkin. Did I miss any? In February, on Valentine's Day, it's still a seasonal holiday, right? Roxanne and I officially became a couple, and our cookie decoration sweetly foreshadowed our future together. Like any other art, baking is ultimately meant to be shared, and special occasions call for special baking, which calls for special sharing, which calls for special baking. On the occasion of my sister in law's granddaughter's bridal gown try on party, I didn't even know there was such a thing, special baking was certainly called for. Roxanne cut out templates for 3 different dress styles, cut dozens of cookies by hand, and she and I were up until the wee hours meticulously designing wedding dresses, each dress being singularly unique, one of a kind. We had so much fun and marveled at each other's designs. There's social justice art. In this case, baking in solidarity with and in support of Ukraine. We used yellow flower petals and Karner blue butterflies to represent fragility and freedom in the colors of the Ukrainian flag. We celebrated the end of the winter season and beginning of spring, baking a cake depicting the first sightings of cherry blossoms for a church cake auction. It was a 3-tiered, 6-layer dark chocolate cake with dark sweet cherry filling and buttercream frosting. I don't know about you, but I'm salivating right now. In the high stakes auction bidding, our cake fetched $125 to help send kids to summer camp. 125. We've been hearing that number around here a lot lately. Possible fundraiser idea for UUSS? So now we come back to the original idea, how these arts inform who we are and how we find joy. Well, we won't share the recipe for our apple pie. Just kidding. We absolutely would if you wanted it. But I will share our recipe for creating joy. Start with an ample amount of doing things you love. Mix in a heaping amount of doing things you love with people you love. Combine it all together and do things you love with people you love and share them with people you love. The holiday season is a traditional time of the year for creating and sharing culinary art. But if you follow this recipe exactly as written, any time of the year will be the most wonderful time of the year. Thank
Hi,
Hi,
my
my
name is
name is
Ellie
Ellie
Von
Von
Welsheim,
Welsheim,
she,
she,
her
her
pronouns.
pronouns.
I
I
start
start
every
every
morning
morning
writing a
writing a
poem.
poem.
I
I
then
then
send
send
it
it
to
to
four
four
friends,
friends,
one
one
in
in
Spain,
Spain,
one
one
in
in
New
New
Hampshire,
Hampshire,
one
one
in
in
Connecticut,
Connecticut,
and one
and
in
one in
Albany.
Albany.
Always
Always
makes
makes
me
me
smile.
smile.
What
What
a
a
nice
nice
way to
way to
find
find
joy in
joy
your
in your
life
life
right
right
from the
from the
get-go
get-go
every
every
single
single
day.
day.
I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to
read
read
two
two
poems.
poems.
One
One
was a
was a
poem that
poem
I
that I
was
was
asked
asked to read
to
to
write
write
during
during
COVID
COVID
by
by
our
our
ministers,
ministers,
and
and they
wanted
wanted
to
to
have
have
something to
something
do
to
with
do with
being
being
connected
connected
through
through
love.
love.
So I
So I
wrote
wrote
this.
this.
It
It
sounded
sounded
like
like
love.
love.
Scrape,
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 scrape.
scrape.
Pause,
Pause,
sweep.
sweep.
Light
Light
just
just
coming
coming
up,
up.
snow
Snow
still
still
falling
falling
down.
down.
Scrape,
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 scrape.
scrape.
Shovel
Shovel
after
after
shovelful
shovelful
of
of
new
new
icy
icy
white.
white.
Caroline
Caroline
moved
moved
from
from
her
her
walk
walk
to
to
ours.
ours.
No
No
property
property
lines.
lines.
All
All
our
our
sidewalks
sidewalks
one.
one.
All
All
of
of
us
us
one.
one.
Snow
Snow
does
does
not
not
discriminate.
discriminate.
And when
And
we
when we
joined the
joined the
clearing
clearing
up, we
up, we
moved the
moved the
other
other
way.
way
Onto
onto
Violet's
Violet's
Walk,
Walk,
part of
part
the
of the
whole.
whole, to clear, to make safe. And at the end of the day, a note appeared saying, "Thank you." And it felt like love. This next poem I wrote shortly after the 2016 elections when I wasn't feeling so good about the outcome, but I really wanted to remember what my vote was for. So I wrote this. It's called What I Voted For. I voted for sleep filled nights, for not waking troubled, frightened, and shaking. I voted for understanding and care for each other, for not having to send a prayer of hope to every house that flies a blue flag or has a blue sign in the yard, for not having to say over and over, may you have peace and understanding, because I pray we all will, and I voted for that. I voted for my body, for being the one to counsel her and to take care to make decisions of love for her that may be different from yours and yours. I voted for the poor, the ones who don't have the luxury of enough. But mostly I voted for those who do and who I pray see this as a most important issue. I voted for my creek and the heron who came to visit one clear, crisp morning while I watched from my cabin bed. I voted for the trees and for more trees and more. And I voted for learning to take less, to do with less, to live with less, so that we all can live well. I voted for our health, for leaving the feeling of dread and anxiety somewhere else, and for living with lightness. I voted for Matthew's baby boy who greets everyone with an outstretched arm and uplifted hand, all secure, happy, and open to all people. I voted for music and dancing and putting paint on canvas and not feeling like it has to be an escape, but rather a celebration. I voted for gardens and fresh food, for supporting each other and being willing to help when we can. I voted to remember who I am and who I want to be in this fragile world. It does feel breakable, so I voted for glue and mortar, for scotch tape, whatever it takes to piece us back together and start over stronger and united in ways we didn't do the first time round. I voted for love.
Still, there is joy. Still, there is joy. Still, is there joy? These times, these days, have tried many of us hard. If there is still joy, it can certainly be hard to find sometimes. Hard to hold on to during the dark and dreary days of a long winter. Hard to see when so much violence, hate, and destruction continues across the world, perpetrated by those we should be able to turn to for leadership, hope, trust, and joy. Only mentioning the disappointment and fear we have endured from our own federal government agencies can gut the joy of anything. Yes, joy can be hard to find, but it's there. Truly, it is. Personally, the search for joy can bring me surprises that bubble into joy. What are the ways I find joy? I am so glad you asked. Searching for vegan recipes for a meal I can create for my family that will satisfy their palate and their soul. Volunteering at a table for Schenectady street soldiers to help distribute items to those in need. Making eye contact with a smile to a yet to meet friend here at the welcome table at UUSS. I also love watching someone else find joy. Watching a friend light up when they see a picture of a puppy or a beautiful rainbow after a storm. A neighbor's reaction when they open their door to see that their car has been cleared of snow by a good Samaritan. Seeing the relief of joy in the older sibling I babysit for when I say, okay, no nap today. Joy. Sometimes I tend to overthink joy or have bigger expectations of what joy should be, but I'm working on that. Letting joy be however small that it is. Letting myself feel okay about being joyful. And sometimes I let it go too quickly and instead hold on to the opposite so easily. The joy of letting go. Let me tell you, I found that too. It wasn't easy. I sure did want to hold on to resentments and angers. Still do sometimes. But with lots of personal work, deep reflection, time, and some really good friends, I have found in the practice of letting go the things, the people, the thoughts that no longer serve me. It wasn't the bubbly joy I mentioned earlier. It's more a calming, a sense of peace, a peaceful resolution in my core. Letting go of resentments allows me freedom. It wasn't about giving anything to those who gave me the reasons for my resentments and anger. Some of them don't even know about giving anything away, about me letting go of them and the attachments that came. It was for me. And there's another joy. I had to come to the value of me being worthy of that letting go. I had to come to the value of saying that when I am gentler with myself, when I catch myself sitting with resentment and let it go, it brings me joy. I no longer think that joy can only be for the big things. I can find joy in doing the dishes so I don't have a sink full in the morning. Making the bed as soon as I get up brings me some joy, especially when I later come back to my room and it's tidy. It's like my past self cared enough for my future self to do that small thing. Joy. I am so grateful we had the theme to reflect upon this month. Still, there is joy. Not just the joy of Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, and Festivus, but all the joy that we might not find or remember so easily. Snow sculpting joy, culinary arts and the joy of eating, the joy of creating and enjoying poetry, the joy of all the volunteers and staff that make Sundays possible, the joy of seeing each and every one of you, knowing that you are there through Zoom, your presence here. May we find and create more joy for ourselves and for the world today and into 2026. In a few days, we will bid farewell to 2025 and all that came with it, all that was attached, the good, the bad, the all of it. We wish you memories of joy this year held, for it did at some point hold joy for all of us, comfort for the grief it held, and hope for tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. In closing, these words by Michael A. Schuler, minister of the First Unitarian Society of Madison, Wisconsin. We have reached the end of this time for the gathering of memory and for letting the imagination play with future possibilities. We have enjoyed magic moments and edified each other. Shall it be concluded then? Or will we adventure, now commenced, continue? Our separate paths converging, meeting, merging, in the unending quest for love more perfect. The joyous struggle for meaning more sufficient and life more abundant. Is this ending to be an ending or merely a prelude to the new, more glorious beginnings? I pose the question. In your hearts lie the answers.